Well, greetings, pipe pals. How are y'all doing? Old holy smoking pipe Padre. And I'm coming back with another video on my little staycation here. I got smoking this wonderful old Bacchus pipe. Gosh, I don't know how long ago I got this. I'm trying to guess. I think I got this pipe in Sunnyvale at a tinderbox in a mall. Interesting. Have you noticed how I guess a lot of malls are not doing so good these days? And I would submit to you that it has a lot to do with the fact that they closed a lot of the tinderboxes in the malls. So when they closed up all the pipe stores in the malls because, you know, pipe smoking wasn't really all that kosher or that PC, it was interesting because a lot of the malls started to decline. So there's a lot of, you know, you've heard of a colony failure in the beehive industry. Well, it's called mall failure, and I think it's a direct result, or at least an indirect result, when they banned pipe stores. That happened. That's happening probably right now at Arden Fair Mall. They got rid of the briar patch, and you know what? Arden Fair Mall is probably going to start plummeting. You watch. Sunrise Mall went down after it kicked out the tinderbox. It had a beautiful store there. So I don't even know if tinderboxes even survive in malls anymore. But anyway, I digress. Well, so how you doing today? I'm gonna make another video. But first, lay housekeeping. Of course, this is this Bacchus pipe, Meerschaum, and in it I'm smoking some Yosemite. Very sweet, aromatic pipe tobacco. Getting in my little collection over there. Yep, fall seems to be making kind of a maybe a little bit of an early appearance. It's not super cold by any means, but it's not super hot either. So that's kind of nice. Delicious, absolutely delicious. Just one little thing about Meerschaum pipes. Sometimes I used to feel the same way. And again, I don't want to mislead anybody. You know, Meerschaum pipes are delicate in their own right, but they're not like, you know, kind of holding a newborn baby. You don't have to worry. I mean, as long as you treat them with respect, you're going to be fine. Okay. There's some coloring compound that you can put on the pipe after it's done. There's a guy, I forgot his name, but he was talking all about coloring Meerschaum pipes. Some people, you know, put little gloves on when they smoke their Meerschaum pipes. I don't. Maybe somebody will take after me for that, but let me just say mea culpa right now. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. If I'm smoking this Meerschaum pipe incorrectly. But Meerschaum pipe will give you a very cool, dry smoke. So that's what it's all about. Delicious. Okay, well, I'm going to talk about a couple things today. Actually, I'm cooking up another video. The first one I did earlier this morning. But I wanted to talk about a couple things that I didn't get a chance to talk about in my other video. So those of you who really like to hear the old Padre yammer on, this is going to be one for the books. Now up here in the ScreenFlow, I'm doing a screen capture, so probably up there I'm going to use I'm trying to see how I figure this out in my own head, how I'm probably going to be here and pointing this way. So there we go. up there in the corner there. You see a picture of this interesting person. And so what I'm going to do with using ScreenFlow, I'm going to just play this. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. And I just want you to just listen to this first opening. This guy's phenomenal, and I'm just really impressed with this guy.
Meet Dr. Noon S. Amun-Ra. He only eats one vegan meal a day. That's right, he only eats 1 hour a day, proving if you eat healthy, you will not lose muscle or lack energy. He even set a world record in deadlifting. But his goal is not bodybuilding or strength. It's anti-aging, longevity, and the highest quality of health and life. We're not telling people to eat only one meal a day, but we are here to show you what's possible with intermittent fasting and that we do not have to eat animal products in order to thrive. Only a handful of people on this planet have the determination to live this way, but it's amazing what happens when we do. Mankind is not supposed to have the health problems it does, and what we call aging is not normal. Let the wise words of this master teach, enlighten, and inspire you. Hi, thanks for being here today.
It is my pleasure.
So, you only eat once a day?
That is so.
I saw a video of you on the internet where you were a deadlifting champion.
That is so. I'm presently the world deadlift champion, drug-free world deadlift champion in my particular class. I hold several world, national, regional records. Cyclic fasting, for instance, is known to potently promote growth hormone release. So throughout the duration of a daily fast, your growth hormone concentration tends to increase. If you combine that with resistance exercise in the evening, as you probably know, that increases testosterone production. When you sleep, that increases growth hormone production, IGF production. So we're talking about anabolic hormones that essentially promote the preservation of muscle tissue. So a regimen which entails daily cyclic fasting, evening resistance training, all of these things combine to enhance the preservation and also augmentation of muscle tissue.
So you're saying somebody who's in their 30s, 40s, and 50s can actually gain muscle?
If it is regimented, if it combines these factors,
right.
That is, increased growth hormone secretion as a consequence of protracted fasting.
Now, you notice that working out late in the day is more beneficial than working out earlier in the day? Or does it matter?
It does matter, and that is because essentially you want to enhance autophagy throughout the day.
So anyway, this guy is phenomenal, and I just stumbled upon this video just yesterday, and I don't know how. Sometimes I just let the YouTube thing have the autoplay, and I was looking at. I don't know how it came up, but all of a sudden I'm listening to this doctor, just phenomenal. And a lot of the things that he's saying with some variation, I'll be honest, he tends to endorse a plant-based diet, high in nuts and seeds and beans, legumes, and doesn't do a lot of fruit, and doesn't really really frowns the law about extraneous sugar or sugars. So some of the people in the raw food movement / vegans, he would not be endorsing some of their dietary regimes. But anyway, I just thought the guy was phenomenal. And the reason why I guess I was intrigued was because of this whole thing of this intermittent fasting. Oops, I'm trying to get the old pipe out here. Got a little bit of a gurgle in it. That's the thing about a bent stem pipe. It's going to give you some gurgles. So you got to have some good old-fashioned pipe cleaners. There you go. Get that condensation out of there. So anyway, but the reason why I was intrigued by this is because of the fact that he eats one meal a day. And essentially, I have been doing pretty much that for the last month. In fact, I have at present over 50 hours on my fast. And that's not to say, look how Herculean I am. It's just that I have come to discover that we do not need to eat as much as we have been led to believe. And I've had a couple people ask me about intermittent fasting and my diet. And one of the things that I think helps when you're learning to do this intermittent fasting is that if you're not eating junk food, it's so much easier to fast. Okay? If you cut down on sugar, if you cut down on refined foods, processed foods, and you eat basically mostly, now again, he's plant-based, clearly, and again, I'm not here to argue with vegans. Some vegans get really angry because they know that I'm not a quote-unquote true vegan. I never claimed to be. I have a lot of respect for vegans in some ways. I have a lot of respect for those that really see this for the health benefits, and in this case, the longevity and anti-aging benefits. But mostly veganism is kind of, it's his. But with some militant groups, it's turned very, very political, and that's what turns me off on a lot of it. But anyway, let me get back to him, then I'll finish up with what I was going to say about my side of it. So anyway, but if you are trying to get into intermittent fasting, one of the things that will help you, and trust me, this is true, get rid of all of the processed crackers, chips, soft drinks, even the quote-unquote low-fat alternatives. Get rid of that, because all you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure the next day when you try to fast. Even a lot of stuff that's considered health foods like granola. Even now, again, I like oatmeal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on oatmeal, but I know that if I eat a bowl of oatmeal within an hour and 45 minutes, I'm going to be ravenous. And I'm not here to tell you that you have to eat meat. I'm not telling you here you have to do anything. Do whatever you want to do. Okay? But I am here to tell you that there is something to what this guy is saying. So I'll see if I can put his link. I'll try to put his link to this video. Let's see if there's a matter of fact, if I can just do this here so you can see it, and then that way I don't have to text it in later. But if you want to know more, go to this link right here, and that will take you to this video. And you can watch it. It's an excellent video. That's all I'm going to say. Again, I'm not really prescribing anything. I'm not telling you have to go plant-based. I'm not telling you have to do this and do my diet. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that this was just a fascinating individual, and clearly he is reaping the benefits of the lifestyle that he is following. And as far as the fasting goes, I've kind of stumbled upon this, several years ago. That's how I probably lost the majority of my weight. And at least 80 pounds today, I can tell you that honestly. I mean, I'm trying to get over 100. I'd like to lose that last 15, 20 pounds just so I can cross over that 100-pound barrier mark. But I do a lot of exercise too. A lot of upper body stuff, pull-ups and chin-ups and pull-ups and push-ups and press-ups, whatever you want to call them. So I do that on a daily basis, and I have noticed that there is a little bit of hypertrophy going on, and I'm happy about that. So again, I want to be stronger and leaner, so it seems to be working. So anyway, okay, that's my let's just see what this does. This is my other video
Hey,
that I made earlier today. Folks, see? Little screen flow video there. But you already seen this one.
See here.
If you haven't seen this one, you can go back and see it. Okay? All right, so let's close that. Anyway, I'm using a program called ScreenFlow here, and that's why I'm able to capture myself plus other stuff that I want to talk about. Kind of cool, huh? This is ScreenFlow 6. Very good. So anyway, I was just fascinated by this video, and obviously this man knows what he's talking about, and he's living what he's talking about. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about these two things in my last video, but that video, if you watched it, God bless you, it went on for a long time. And this one probably is going to go on a little bit long too. So forgive me if you're waiting for me to get to the punchline or the point. But the first point was I just wanted to talk about intermittent fasting and this whole idea that you can eat one meal a day. I mean, and actually, I eat one meal a day and I still don't lose weight. Okay, the point was that people think, gosh, if you only eat one meal a day, you're gonna whittle away to nothing, and that just isn't the truth. It just isn't. It doesn't happen that way. Because of, I think, as long as you're exercising, it sounds almost counterintuitive. Like, well, gosh, if you're exercising and fasting, you're gonna lose all this weight, and you're gonna become a skeleton. But I think what he's talking about, the hormone, the growth hormone, being activated when we do certain things, I think there's some truth to that. I really believe that's true, because I'm not, again, I eat basically one meal a day. Now I'll have a fairly substantial meal, and maybe I'll even show that a little bit later in the video. I don't know. I basically have a vegetable. It's basically a hamburger meal that's basically what I call a taco salad without the taco shell. And it's quite satisfying. I feel extremely full after I eat it, and basically that's all I do. Again, I talked a little bit about in one of my videos recently about responsible eating as opposed to recreational eating. And there's a time, even he talks about in his video, that the food that we eat, it has to be palatable. It has to be enjoyable. We're not saying don't enjoy your food. It just makes sure that the food that you enjoy is healthy, good food. And now I personally believe that, and again, as a Christian, we do not have dietary restrictions. Now, again, some of the more, and I don't mean to sound inflammatory, but some of the more radical vegan people, they are just absolutely opposed to eating animals and other people eating animals. And again, for me, if you want to be a vegan and you want to, that's the lifestyle you've chosen for yourself, and that's the ethics that you have chosen, you know what? I salute you and I commend you. Okay. But on the other hand, don't try and force your vegan philosophy on the rest of the world. Again, as a Christian, Jews and Christians Jews have dietary restrictions, certainly, and they have kosher, kashrut, they have certain dietary restrictions that they must adhere to. But Christians don't. And a lot of people are surprised. They think, well, Christians shouldn't eat meat because it's killing and you shouldn't kill. Well, sorry, Acts 10:13 makes it very clear that God has made all animals clean, and we have no injunctions against us saying, or prohibitions saying you can't eat certain animals, or you're not supposed to eat animals, period. Even Jesus himself ate animals, even in post-resurrection. We know the early Christians ate animals. Again, it's not an issue. But some vegans really want to make it an issue and condemn and threaten. Even I've been threatened many times that you should not do this. You are wrong, and we are going to eventually stop you. It's like, wow, that's pretty bold. That's pretty bold. Just because you disagree, that's fine. But when you start trying to say, well, you can't think that way, and you can't practice your faith, or you can't do that because it goes against what I believe, that's when we have a problem. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is this here. Let me get my glasses out again. So I'm going to try, okay, if I go up here, I'm going to close that one, and I'm going to see if I can do this. Oh, there's my, okay, I wanted to show you this here. Okay, so Americans say science is why they've given up on religion. Okay. Now, it's interesting because as I look at this article, and there's many articles about, how people are, I wonder if I can close that and still keep that open. Yeah, I can. Okay. People are really talking about the demise, the death of, if you will, Christianity in the West. And certainly we've seen a lot of mainline religious denominations dwindle to some extent. But again, there's always the army of the faithful. People, again, the problem that I see with this is that they're approaching religious faith kind of, they're approaching it from the wrong mindset. Now, I would say that it's not unreasonable. It's not a surprise. But here's where it breaks down, and this is where people kind of get into trouble. Is they look at whether it's Christianity, and pick a flavor, pick a denomination, Catholic, Lutheran, Methodist, Church of Christ, Disciples of Christ, Methodist, Four Gospel, Full Square, Four Square, whatever groups, denominations. Just religion in general. And the problem is that they look at religion as a consumer product. That's where they make the error. That's where the error is made. When a person looks at religion as a consumer product. For example, let's go back to just this previous video I was talking about. A lot of the things in health and fitness are, predicated upon the thing that if you practice this way of life, in essence, it will give you something positive, right? You follow, say, either a paleo diet, a ketogenic diet, a vegan diet, and one of the things that a lot of people will subscribe to these diets is because they believe it's going to help them in weight loss. It'll help them to get healthy. In other words, there's going to be a quid pro quo kind of an arrangement. I'm going to invest my life, my time, my money, my energy into following this, and as a result, it's going to give back to me. And I really think when I look at that, that's where it kind of begins to have problems. Classical Christian faith is not predicated upon a quid pro quo kind of proposition. It is in some regards, but because of the rise of social justice folks who feel that the church or religion should be all about, helping people, period. Tolerating people, accepting people, helping people, and don't get me wrong. There is a component where that is certainly valid, okay? But that's not necessarily really the essence of what Christianity is about. Christianity really is about a belief. It's about following a man by the name of Jesus, who we believe wasn't just a nice guy who went around doing good deeds. Okay, that's not really what it's all about. The radical message of Christianity is that Jesus Christ by his death, by his passion, his death, and his resurrection, destroyed once and for all death and sin. Okay? That's the Christian message. But it's been kind of morphed into this politically correct idea that, well, really what we're all about is, handing out sandwiches and, giving somebody a free hand when we need to, or when they need it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's certainly is part of our responsibility as believers. But it's interesting, and I can show you from Scripture that what Jesus said really was not about what most people have morphed religion into. In other words, we got to make sure we're giving people something. And the problem is that people look at, well, I'm not getting anything out of my religion, so why follow it? That's not why you follow a religion, okay? That's, again, you're not even following a religion per se. The religion is, that, if you will, the context or the vessel of faith. You have faith because you believe that there is a God. You don't believe that there's a God because it's scientifically proven or provable. And a lot of people today, this article here is all about science, basically. Okay, science, Americans say science is why they've given up on religion. And I would say that science has revealed certain things that actually religion has already believed, we believe that there's a heaven and an earth. Now, how many of you have actually seen outer space? I mean, other than things on TV or pictures, how many of you have actually been there? Because if you want to apply the way people say, well, how do you know that there really was a Jesus? There's no real historical proof for that. Okay, so let me ask you, can you historically prove that the things that we see on the screen, on our TVs or our internet, are not photoshopped? There are people who are in the Flat Earth Society that will tell you that the earth is truly flat. This whole spherical notion is all made up. We didn't go to the moon because that was impossible. So, in many ways, you have to have faith even in science. I think that's amazing. You have to think about that. You have to have faith even in science. How many of you have actually seen a real dinosaur? Seriously, how many of you have seen a dinosaur? How many of you have seen a triceratops walking down, the street or the alley the last few days? Not many, okay? But you swear up and down that, they existed. We know that they existed. Well, yeah. I don't discredit that, but I'm just saying that, can you really prove that? You can say, well, there are bones in museums. Well, how do you know that those bones were put together correctly? Maybe they were a fossilized something else. Who knows? All I'm trying to say is that you do have to have faith that science, in fact, evolution is a theory. Evolution is a theory. And so you have to bring to that theory a modicum of faith to say, well, this is how it supposedly, happened. Because there is no real hard proof. We don't have a video. We don't have anything telling us that there was a Big Bang, although even the Christianity actually believes that God is the first instance of everything. Big Bang. God spoke and the world came into being, boom! So I'm just saying that science has become the new religion. I think we could all maybe agree on that one. Because where are people putting their faith now? They're putting their faith in science and its progeny, technology. Because why? Technology sometimes gives us some pretty cool stuff. Gives us some cool medicines, maybe. Keeps us alive longer because of the medicines. Gives us new tech toys. I'm the first one to say, yeah, I like my tech toys. But you still have to have faith in science. Now, one of the things that we're getting ready to celebrate, I guess, in the next month or two is the canonization of Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Now, I was shocked because I saw this when it first came out that that the Pope was going to canonize Mother Teresa. You would think, who can say anything negative about Mother Teresa of Calcutta? Golly, it's like coming against Albert Schweitzer. I mean, here humanitarians, people who were completely philanthropic, people who were, people who were real good Samaritans, people who helped people. I mean, where did I put my tamper? Did you see where I put my tamper? See, if you had a 360 video here, you'd say, hey, your tamper's over there. Where did I put my... Oh, there it is. It was hiding underneath the bag. But I was shocked. I'm not shocked now, but I was shocked originally to find people hating on Mother Teresa. And why were they hating on Mother Teresa? Hating on Mother Teresa, of all people. Why were they hating on Mother Teresa? Because of their consumer mentality about what they think religion should be. What they were saying was that Mother Teresa was mean and she didn't really help people. I mean, they said all she did was help people die, and that was it. She didn't spend a lot of money on new medicines. She didn't invest in procedures that might have prolonged life for people. Basically, all she did was bring in these homeless people and give them a place to die. Okay. And they were saying all she did was preach to them about Jesus and God and heaven and how things would be better in heaven, kind of thing. See, they were looking for something. They were looking for something, again, a lot of these people aren't even Christians to begin with, But they criticized her because all she did was give a little bit of palliative care to those who were dying. And so instead of dying in a gutter, instead of dying in a street or maybe even a pile of garbage, she brought these people in and gave them death with dignity. She eased their pain and suffering to the best that she could. I think one of the critiques was that she probably didn't really help addicts and people who were sick with alcohol and drugs. Now that I don't know. I would assume that if there was like maybe a halfway house, if they had a halfway house for addicted people, I'm sure that they had something going on. But again, Mother Teresa was very frugal, to be honest. I mean, she was very frugal, and she had her priorities straight. Even this gentleman in this last video, he says something at the very end, and I think you need to listen to it. Because, and I'll just tell you what it is. He said, I want to make it very clear that I do acknowledge the inevitability of death. Because here he is. The guy's probably in his late 40s, maybe 50s. He looks fantastic. The gentleman, and the black gentleman, the doctor, Dr. Aman Ra, I guess his name is. We all can agree that the guy is a splendid example of the human health. Okay. Be great if he had a pipe. Did you notice the stick in his hand? Wouldn't that be cool if he had a pipe and he would, puffing on a pipe and looking very philosophic? That would have made him. I think that would have sold me right then and there. I would have been okay. We're there, dude. We're there. But anyway, but obviously a splendid example of human health and vitality. But he said very clearly, he says, I want to acknowledge the inevitability that we will die. And we need to be, we need to be prepared for that. We can't try to wish it away with magical thinking. And he didn't say that per se, but he wanted to make it clear that yes, human life does have an end, and that's inevitable, and you need to be ready for that. And I think that that's what Mother Teresa did. She prayed people, she loved them literally to death. And all of us are going to die. And we need to not be afraid of that, but we do need to acknowledge it. And we can't just, magically pretend like, ooh, I'm not going to acknowledge that. No. And there's just too many people in the world today that all they want is somebody to give them something. And Christianity is not about handouts. It's about following a radical way of life. Again, just like this Dr. Aman Ra, I think I'm saying his name correctly. Again, it's some people look at that. You mean you only eat one meal a day? How can you do that? Quite easily, I might add. And I've met many people, even though he's a wonderful, I think, example of what he... and again, it's not that he's preaching anything. This is just what he does. He's not trying to sell you anything. And again, Christianity isn't really trying to sell you anything either. I think Christianity is an answer to a lot of humanity's questions about human suffering, injustice, and death. Science can maybe treat symptoms, but it's not going to ever cure the real disease, which is death. But a lot of people today don't want to hear that message. And that's why Christianity, if you pardon my phrase here, it doesn't sell. It doesn't sell in Peoria. But that's the problem. It's not meant to be something that's sold. Now I can hear already all these people talking about all the religious charlatans and all the televangelists and people saying, "Oh, send me in money, send me money, send me money." I'm not asking you to send me money. I don't even have a Patreon account. Some of my vegan friends do. Of course, they wouldn't consider me a friend because I eat animals. But I just think that, anyway, won't get into that can of worms, so I've already kind of opened it and put it to the side. But people will give to support a ministry, and there's nothing wrong with that. People give to support the charitable working, the upkeep and the charitable outreach of the church, and there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, so people kind of see religion as sometimes a flim-flam scam, and have there been people that have taken people's money and said they're going to spend it on the poor or the less fortunate, and maybe just spend it all on themselves. Yeah, I guess there have. I mean, people even accuse Billy Graham. I mean, Billy Graham doesn't live an extravagant life. He lives a comfortable life, but again, you're supposed to provide for your ministers, and so again, as long as they're not doing anything illicit or illegal or immoral or unethical with the stipends and the salaries they get, they're entitled to that. But again. Sometimes people just, again, they look at religion as, because they're looking for an axe to grind. They really aren't being genuine in their critique. They're just using it to beat somebody up with because they don't like them. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to share those two things, because I think the lesson, or the conclusion that I'll come to, is the thing that both these things, a way of life, like this doctor I shared with you a few minutes ago, and then my own take on why some people have abandoned religion in because of science, quote unquote, is because if you say, well, I want to do this and get something back, then your whole motivation is wrong. But if you want to give yourself over to a higher authority or a higher power, essentially that's what it is. You're saying, okay, we're all ruled by something or someone. in some ways. You guys are married to your rulers, most of you. And your two favorite words, if you're smart, are yes, dear. But anyway, but it's who do you choose really to have authority over you? We all have somebody, whether it's the IRS, it's your landlord, again, maybe your spouse, maybe your boss at work, maybe it's the military, maybe you're in the military. But what these two examples that I've talked about and shared with you on the videos really have to do with, okay, you get a choice on what higher authority you're going to serve in your life. That's probably like one of the few choices that we have. We have to kind of make that. We have to acknowledge that that's part of human existence. To be truly an anarchist, I don't think works, because you have to enter into some kind of a relationship. And so whether you're going to apply discipline and say, okay, I'm not going to eat snacks. I'm not going to eat 5-6 meals a day. I'm going to eat one healthy, nutritious meal a day, and I'm going to do exercise, and I'm going to commit myself to this way of life. You're submitting yourself to a philosophical discipline. Now, will you have some benefits from that in time? Yes, you will. But it's not really a quid pro quo. And the same is very true with faith, religious faith. You either choose to follow this man, the second person of the Holy Trinity. His name is Jesus. You choose to follow him, and basically that's the choice. And will there be benefits? Of course. Eternal life, his promise to those who believe and follow him. But it doesn't mean you're not going to go through this life without incurring problems. You're still going to have to deal with health issues. You're still going to have to deal with your loved ones getting sick and maybe dying. You're still going to have to deal with problems at work. You're still going to have to deal with human life as it comes. So, but the thing is that you have faith that God will see you through it. Not preserve you from problems and suffering, but He will guide you through them. And just like with the exercise thing, does it mean it's going to be easy and there aren't going to be problems and setbacks? No. There are going to be challenges, there are going to be pain, there's going to be times when it's going to be uncomfortable. But you do it because it's a good thing for you. You've submitted yourself to a better way of life. Not because you're going to get something out of it. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to give you this, so now you can give me what I want. It doesn't work that way. And I think that's where a lot of people are missing this whole issue about quote-unquote religion and how, science, science. Well, got to have faith to believe in science too. Anyway, I just wanted to say all that. I just wanted to share that. I wanted to see if it resonates with anybody. Again, getting back, I'll finalize with a little pipe stuff here. So if you like meerschaums, share with us a video about your meerschaums. Light up a meerschaum and go after the old padre and tell me where I'm wrong. Or say, I've thought about that too, and maybe you have some other ideas. Okay, that's fine too. Add your 2 cents. Okay, so thanks for watching. And again, I've just really enjoyed kind of my vacation a little bit here, and enjoy bringing some of my little treasures, kind of rediscovering some of my little pipe treasures. So anyway, that's all for now. We'll talk to you in the next video. So take care. Light up your world and light up your pipe. Okay, now how do I turn this thing off? Stop recording.